Hey, welcome back to the lab. We have a fresh lantern project. This here, now it's got no name on it. No badging of any kind on it. And because of the paint, even the patent dates and all that are covered up. Yeah, this is bad rattle can paint. Anyway, it is easy to tell by looking at all the mechanisms and how they do things that this is a Defiance number 0 perfect. And it's quite rare. From what I understand, it's got a number 2 burner in it, this model. It's got big wick, big burner in it. So that's quite rare, apparently. I'm trying to learn more about this strange beast here. Anyway, yeah. So this is going to be our next project. And I'm excited because I think this is going to be pretty nice underneath this shitty paint. So let's take a look at it and see what we see. All right, let's see what we got here. This, when I first got it, I popped this in it. This is a hot blast globe. I popped this in it because this had a tall cold blast globe in it, which was a bear to get out. I don't know how they got it in there, but they did. And it was because, you know, they are just so wide. This is one of them wide, big, fat berthas there. All right, let's see here. I'm assuming that's where you stop. You don't go like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Probably painted shut. That still works, so that's a good sign. I'm betting that this thing is painted shut. I have a feeling that this was probably not used after it was painted. I'm going to lay out a little croil, let it work its way around here. I'm just looking. See if anybody's screwed with anything. Doesn't look like it, but some of this paint, or whatever this is pretty burned up. Almost looks like, I mean, that this had like huge open 6 foot or 6 inch tall flame getting up in there. I don't know what that's all about. Looks like it's badly burned. Oh, it's going to move. I can hear it. There it comes. Yeah, how do you do this? How do you do this on this model? Or do you do that? I don't think you do, but how does that come out? Yeah, okay. Oh, and that came loose. That's great. Ooh, this thing was almost at its end. But it works. It's like it's got bird crap in it. So this thing probably had a freaking bird living in it. Or right there, probably before something was tossed in it. Oh yeah, this was a barn lurker before it was painted. I have no doubt. Yeah, look at all the poop. I mean, then that's supposed to be right on this thing. Okay. This thing had no filler cap. Well, no, I take that back. Oh, wait a minute. What is going on in here? Yeah, it's all right. I think it's all right. That's not, you know, end stage rustage. Okay, so yeah, so this thing was a Dietz, and this was like jammed in the hole. I was very delighted to find that because it's going to fit a CT ham I have that needs it. It doesn't fit here. Oh Jesus! As I say that, it fits because I was trying to screw it on here and son of a gun. How great is that? It is going to fit. Yes, that makes my day because I have a cork over here that I've been saving. Right there. But a cork that I thought I'd have to make a cork or a stopper for this. All right, so you got this with the poop and the paint. This has got the poop, a little bit of paint. So we're gonna go put some remover on here, get rid of this awful rattly can. Yeah, I mean, even they put so much of it on here that it pooled and made bubbles, and you can see where the bubbles broke at some point. So somebody wanted a little nuts trying to turn this into some kind of decorative art. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back. So this is all I'm back with. Yeah, this rattle can paint is being a total bear. Had to do a second application. I was very surprised. Might have something to do with what they painted over. They painted over kinds of rust and dirt and splatter of some kind of other light blue paint that was underneath it. But the metal looks really nice. The Defiance metal looks real nice underneath, so I am excited for that. However, I had to put another helping of Easy Off on it. We're going to let that soak for a good long time. So, you know, I've seen videos of people that do the trash bag thing, and I've never done that. All I do is throw it on there and leave it 15 minutes to a half an hour, and then I go for it. I don't do the trash bag thing. I'd be curious to see how much of a difference that makes. All right, anyway, I'm going to go over to the bench grinder, clean this up, and I'll come back, hit it with the Dremel, clean her up, and then we'll check the body again. All right. So here's an interesting thing. This burner is a Dietz. So let's get this little thing cleaned up nice. Well, I don't see anything wrong with that. But does this belong? That's the question. Okay, now what do we do? Hey, how about we listen to a little shortwave? What do you say, folks? Let's listen to some shortwave. It's a new toy. A new, very old toy.
Put up a whole new site, so they did. So 5-year-old Shively antenna was taken down, and we bought it. And my game plan is to, being on full wave space, you'd have to have more material in order to lengthen it to that, plus lengthen the elements on the vertical ends in order to move to 90.
What's the matter, buddy? I know. Okay, well, this is all I came back with. Yeah, going for a third application of Easy Off. And I was going to go to the paint stripper, the actual stripper, but I really like Easy Off for the ease of cleaning it off. You can run the thing over underwater, and I mean that almost pretty much does it, just hot water by itself. Now with the gel paint stripper, that gel paint stripper hits water and it turns into snot. And every little crevice or like up underneath the smoke bell or anything like that, any place that you leave any, that's just going to sit there, and it's this snotty, jello-y kind of weirdness. That's just a pain in the butt because it kind of, if you don't get it all completely off, like you can't just rinse it off. You got to like, scrub it off. So that's the reason. So I'm going to, I'll work on this little thing. And I think I'll listen to a little more shortwave and give this third application a good amount of time. Okay, so we are back. We are mostly paintless. Boy, oh boy, that was rough. We are not without holes, and I'll find more after I put it on the grinder, I'm sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are just pinholes. There's no problem. I can seal that. There's a good sized one there. Did not see. Okay, so let me put this. I'm gonna go take this over to the grinder. I want to get at it while these like this. The remaining paint is still kind of moist, not all dried up and permanent like this other crap was. So let me get that out of the way. Like I said, otherwise, not horrible. I mean, there's good texture. I mean, when I say good, I mean the amount of texture, not the amount of texture that I would care for. Yeah. Okay. I'll be back in a sec. Right. So, we have, we got holes in an interesting line right across here. Probably random. I don't know. But, all right. Well, I don't know if I want to fix those with solder or just throw some dabs of W. Yeah, JB weld it. We'll see. So, anyway, yeah, it almost looks like there's a lot of tinning or something. Cool. All right, let's get to work. All right, we'll start out with a junk bit just to alleviate some big lumps, as I call them. All right, let's see here. Let's get rid of some crap.
All right. Hey there, all you middlemen. Throw away your fancy clothes. And while you're out there sitting on a fence, so get off your ass and come down in here. 'Cause rock and roll ain't no riddle, man. To me it makes good sense. Good sense, just go. Ooh, yeah. Heavy decibels are playing on my guitar. We got vibrations coming up from the floor. Oh, we're just listening to the rock that's giving too much noise. Are you deaf? You wanna hear some more? We're just talking about the future, forget about the past. It'll always be with us, it's never gonna die, never gonna die. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution. Rock and roll ain't gonna die. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution. Rock and roll, it will survive. Yes, it will. I took a look inside your bedroom door. You look so good lying on your bed. Well, I asked you if you wanted any rhythm and love. You said you wanna rock and roll instead. We're just talking about the future, forget about the past. It'll always be with us, it's never gonna die, never gonna die. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution. Rock and roll ain't gonna die.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal this tank because I'm going to call it a night. But I want to get this tank sealed so I don't have to wait another day for it to dry and to me finish this baby up. Well, I think with my new method of just dabbing on JB Weld It, and I'm going to save a fortune on JB Weld It, yeah, maybe I'm going to fill up these holes. Yeah, I'm going to JB Weld it now. If I need to seal it tomorrow, darn it all, we'll just have to make this another day. A 3-day build, as they say. Okay. I gotta watch the way I have this sitting because there's still a little bit of moisture in the tank from when we were at the sink. But yeah, I think there's some tin all over this baby. Okay, so let me get this locked in place. All right, so we got that, and we got these. There's J, and there's B. Yeah, I think it's doing this so I have a little bit of extra control over what I do with the Weld It. Just a little bit more of a, okay. Yeah, we can use this one to mix it up, no big deal. Okay. Let's see here. Did not want to stick all that well to that. Might still be a little wet from the inside. Make sure I don't smear that while I'm doing crap here. I've learned to stop trying to contour it while it's wet. I'm just blobbing it on there. I don't care how tall it is. I could do the old, soft serve ice cream top on it. That's cool. Because I can grind that down. I'm just trying to make it look less awful rather than slathering the entire bottom of this thing. We'll weld it. But the cool thing is, hopefully, for the rest of this lantern's life, it will not be in a rusty environment again. Unless it decorates somebody's gazebo or something like that. After I'm gone. If they still make gazebos. That should do it. And if need be, we'll throw some seal all in there. All right, I'm going back with a heavy glob where that big hole was. Make sure I didn't screw that one up. Okay, so we're gonna leave these. Gonna leave that sitting right like that. All right, we got it. All right. We'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow will come up just like... All right, it is the next day. And these things are looking just fine. Not going to mess with those yet. What we're going to do now, we're going to seal the tank real quick because the day got away from me. I just thought that maybe we can seal this up and I can let it dry sitting on the radiator, which will very quickly accelerate the curing process. By the way, I have Seal All here. And that's what I'm going to use to seal the inside. This is a small fount, so I'm going to do maybe a third of this tube. And I'm going to thin it out with some acetone, and I'll show you that. That should be more than enough. I think I pretty much got everything. I got the pinholes, but pinholes can get pretty tiny. And I don't know what's going along, you know, the seam as well. Could be. All right. Seal All. And I'm going to take a little acetone. I'm using this syringe as a delivery device for the acetone. That way I can just regulate it as much as I want rather than trying to pour it out of this ridiculous thing. So what I'm doing with this acetone is thinning it out a little bit. You can see. Yeah, there we go. You can see it's gloopy. And I want to just thin it out slightly so it wanders better in the tank. And that makes a little bit of difference too, that it's pretty chilly in here. You know, middle of the summer. This is probably the viscosity of this would be without any acetone in it. It's chilly. We are gonna actually shoot. I was gonna melt this a little bit and give me something to pour it. Oh shit. Jesus. Oh, did you see what just happened there? Yeah. I try to give myself a little pour spout. Yeah, boy. That's how accidents happen. I wanted to melt that and put a little pour spout on this 2-ounce souffle cup and yeah, set it on fire. Of course, because this is highly flammable all over the tube and all over the acetone container. I just want to make sure I don't, you know, accidentally get some of this on the filler stem and, like, you know, clog up the little threads for the cap. Jeez. I've been telling myself I need to get one of those fire blankets just to have here in the shop, purely because I use a soldering iron and solvents and things that are flammable. And it's winter time where everything's really dry. I should invest in one of those. All right. So now, very slowly migrating across. So I'm going to, you know, shake this thing all around. Yeah, definitely. The viscosity would be a lot different if this was summertime. There it comes. I'm watching it now. It's just kind of one level coming down like that. And this stuff dries clear. It's real weird because you look in there and you see a shiny surface and you're like, is that wet? Yeah, no, that's just dried seal all. Okay, now I'm going to do a turning motion like this. I'm doing it quickly to show you, but turn it so I bring the fluid all around the edges. While I'm just sitting here looking at this thing and I'm seeing it, yeah, there was a good amount of tin. Good amount of tin showing, unless that is some kind of surprise layer of silver spray paint that didn't come off, but I do not think so. I need one of those engine block cameras. With the, I forget what they're called. Just a camera on the wire. Sitting there, look. Ken has one. Ken, it's got a great tool. I saw a video of him getting one of those cameras to look in the founts to find anomalies and hidden wicks and holes. Pretty cool. All right, well, you get the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all this kind of stuff, make sure it gets all around the edge, because you just don't know with this pressed edge here where holes might arise. And then I'm going to throw it on the radiator and let it do its thing. And then after that, I'll come back and we'll finish this thing. We're not too far from being done. I say that now because maybe I'll find... I can't wait to fire this up. I really want to see how this fires up because I've never seen a number 2 burner in a hot blast. So that's going to be pretty neat to see it burn. Okay, and there we go. There we go for sealing the inside. The outside, we'll look at that when we get back. Okay. Okay, so we are back. And this has been sitting on a nice hot radiator for about 6 hours. That should be plenty. Oh yeah. We're all cured up. Okay. So, we just gotta, in the past I've done this and like I got a bit like this, to kind of smooth them out. But the problem is if I deviate just a little bit onto the metal, and it puts a real good mark in the metal. I don't like that. I'm wondering if I just kind of go at these a little bit with like just the wheel and just kind of take the sharp edges off. Well, maybe I'll do the sharp edges with this and then I'll round out with the other one. Listen to me and my famous last words. I don't think I have any other good. I have all these ones with square edges like this. But you got to get your angle just right. And as if you're off on your angle, it puts a big mark in your lantern. Just the big lumps. I'm just going to get the big lumps off with this. Yeah, I don't even want to screw with this one with that bit because you almost can't even see that. So I'm gonna go at that just with the wire wheel and kind of just round off the edges. Yeah, I gotta find the wheel I was working with yesterday. What's finishing up is now for a good pointy bit. There's one. So I call these broom bits because they look like a broom. And here's what they look like after you use them just once. They'll all end up looking like that pretty quick. But if you really got a specialty, you need this where it's a lot softer. Get around there, and then you got to go at it with a fresh one. There's less weird little spots for stuff to happen on a hot blast for some reason. Okay, well, let's take a look around here. I'm curious, kind of want to try something. I have some little bits of the black paint left around, but they're just kind of smears. So when I was using a Dremel tool, and it was just kind of smearing around, and I want to kind of see if these little smears, maybe, I wonder if I can just make it go away with some acetone. Looks like it. Great. Because it certainly wasn't coming off with the method I was using. And they're in these knots, which are really hard to get paint out of, as you can imagine. Oh yeah, wow, I found a lot of paint in here. Wow. I'm gonna have to wipe that off there, but I gotta get at it while it's still wet. All right, big glob of it on. Oh yeah, yeah, wow, I can really see where it's finding that. Holy moly. Good. It's good I discover it now. Okay, so there's a little scrap. I'm going to use a fresh pillow for these nice big parts here. Okay, let's get this put together. So I keep knocking it around. And once I get it back together, I think okay, we'll be all right. I thought maybe I was going to have to bend one of those a little bit to keep that from coming loose, but I think once there's a globe in there and everything, it's going to be just fine. I see some paint remnants in here, but like I said, acetone, I don't know what it would do to that. And it's the bottom, so I'm not overly worried there. Okay. first, let me address this here. This was in another lantern that had no filler cap. And I looked in the hole and I'm like, there's something in the bottom of that. And it was a full-size lantern cap hole. And this was jammed down in there. Much to my delight. It was a very, very excellent bit. Or a very excellent cap. Not easy to find. Yes. Cool. All right, we'll put that on after we treat. All right, let's treat and then wipe down. And we might as well go for a nice little musical interlude while we do that. Okay. That's too short. Okay. These are all vintage. Okay. Very nice. Beautiful. Beautiful vintage wick in there. In fact, this might even have come out of a Defiance, I think. So, that's quite fitting. No pun intended. Nice. So, this being number 2 burner out of a deed, so I wonder if that was why it was kind of difficult for me to get it out of here. Could have just been me. And that's probably the case. Go. Nice diff. It's like butter. Oh well, that is a little. Yeah, I think these springs are just old. And maybe this. Oh, this is the crescent. Okay, I grabbed the crescent globe. I'm gonna grab a different one. I'm gonna grab one of my Corning ones. Hold on a second. I tell you, these Corning globes, heavy. I mean, this got to weigh twice as much as that crescent globe. And I say crescent, it was embossed with crescent very lightly, like right where you would see that. Very lightly, kind of a little right there. I didn't know what it was. I thought, there's no way that came out of a Dietz crescent. And it doesn't say Dietz on it, and that's just silly. Turns out, thanks to my lantern group helping me answer, that crescent was a manufacturer of glass globes. And now, because I just used the towel that got off all that that wiped off the linseed oil, I just used to clean this glass off. So I completely screwed it all up. Made it diarte. That's better. Even though my hands are still covered in oil. Okay. Oh yeah. Night and day. Those crescent globes must be just short by a fraction. Beautiful. Let's fuel her up. I'd be amazed if there's any holes in this thing after what we've done to this thing here. This is the last of my dyed pink or dyed red kerosene. I had been living all summer. I mean, since last winter, I've been living off a jug of this tinted kerosene. And I don't know what it's like in other states, but they dye it red to something to do with taxes, and one being something to do with using in cars on the road. I guess the ones that you use on the road are the ones that are taxable. I don't know. I forget. How great is that? Awesome. Having that, finding that. Love it. I mean, it was worth, I mean, considering the price I paid for the lantern that came in, it was worth the entire price of the lantern, just for that. Okay, now we just wait for a pinkish hue right there.
Is there a pinkish hue? A pinkish hue? Yes, a rosy glow.
So, I'm just going to hang out for a little while and let that wick do its wicking. Oh yeah, so I went to finally load up this year with kerosene because it's freaking cold here now, January in New York. And the gas station had all K1 K1 kerosene, and they were out of stock of the dyed stuff. Okay, we have pinkish hue on the wick. Okay, well, I want to show you real quick. Here is a perfect, and I worked on about a month ago. This is a newer one, and this is a match strike, and this is an inside lift, and it's got the number 0 burner, and it has embossing, and it has the larger filler cap, and it says Made in USA up on top of there. And yeah, you can see some of the differences up here. Here. And you can see that the seams, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the center tube here is doesn't have crimps in it. So this is a single piece, goes all the way around, and it's connected to one spot. This was all 2-piece pressed together. Pretty neat. And a telltale sign. So when I saw the pictures of it, I'm like, yeah, I can tell by how this is all twisted here. And how this comes across like this. Yeah. Fount's a little bit smaller on this one. And this one probably because it has number 2 burner. Let's fire it up. All right, so let's change the mood here, folks. What do you say? So all we have for light is Supervisor Baby and my little nautical lamp there. Oh, embarrassing for you, Mr. Match. Okay, gonna start real low, let all that air kind of recirculate there. Yeah, it's kind of hard for you to see in the video that I have the flame quite small because I want to let this warm up and let it warm up some air come down the tubes, and I can feel it starting to come back around. I'm going to use my flashlight just to see if I see any smoke coming up. No smoke. Might see a little smoke, once this heats up real good because of the oil I put on all these surfaces, including the hot ones. Okay, we have achieved fireness. Let's take a look, folks. Oh. Excuse me. Move your fat butt. He is so curious. So he hears me talking to stuff. He thinks I'm talking to his food. All right, folks, here we have it. Number 0 perfect. I'm sorry. This is a number 2 perfect, right? Yeah, this would be an unmarked number 2. Let's turn some lights back on and some up here. So here we have it, folks. We have a, yeah, I just said that. Folks, thank you so much for stopping by. Me and Snacks the cat, thank you for stopping by. Supervisor says thank you. And, hey, as usual, don't you go change it.
We'll be back with the Magic Tunes for the Armada Room's 2-hour disco swing party after this short break. Till then, don't you go changing.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.